Exodus and Discovery. Commander Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the Exodus vessel Perseverance, watching as the blue marble of Earth disappeared into the black canvas of space. The ship's hull vibrated with the soft hum of its engines, carrying the last remnants of humanity away from the only home they had ever known. "Status update," she requested, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. "All systems nominal, Commander," reported Lieutenant Decker, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The rest of the fleet is maintaining formation. Estimated journey to the designated exile zone, 15 years. Maya nodded silently. The Galactic Council's judgment had been swift and merciless. Humanity had been deemed too unpredictable and evolutionarily divergent to join the community of spacefaring species. Their crime: developing artificial intelligence that exceeded Council-mandated limits and weaponizing quantum technology in ways that frightened the elder races. Rather than risk a war they couldn't win, Earth's unified government had accepted the terms of exile: complete removal from Council space to the uncharted regions beyond the Perseus Arm. They were allowed to take what they could carry: their knowledge, their technology, and a fraction of their population aboard a hastily assembled fleet of colony ships. "Commander," Decker's voice pulled her from her thoughts. "Admiral Harrison is requesting a command meeting in 30 minutes. Tell him I'll be there," she replied, turning for one last look at the diminishing blue dot that was Earth. "We're not finished," she whispered. "This isn't the end of our story." 3 generations passed aboard the exile fleet. Children were born who had never seen Earth, who knew only the metal corridors and recycled air of the ships. The original exiles aged and died, their memories of blue skies and open spaces fading into legend. Maya Chen's granddaughter, Aria Chen, now served as chief science officer aboard the Perseverance. Unlike her grandmother, she had never known Earth. She had been born among the stars, raised on stories of humanity's banishment and the promise of a new beginning. Contact: unidentified structure at coordinates 317 Mark 42. The sensor operator called out, breaking the monotony of another day in deep space. Aria rushed to the bridge, her heart racing. After decades of emptiness, they had found something. Analysis. Captain Rodriguez demanded, his weathered face tense with anticipation. "It appears to be artificial, sir," Aria reported, studying the data. "Massive structure, approximately 20 kilometers in diameter. Design unlike anything in our database." The captain nodded. "Slow approach. Alert the rest of the fleet. Let's take a closer look." As the Perseverance inched closer, the structure revealed itself: a massive ring-shaped station, dark and dormant, drifting silently in the void. Parts of it were damaged, sections missing entirely, but the central core appeared intact. "No signs of life or active power signatures," Aria noted. "I believe it's been abandoned for a very long time." Captain Rodriguez studied the structure thoughtfully. "Prepare an exploration team. Chief Chen, you'll lead it." The station's interior was a marvel of engineering unlike anything humans had ever seen. Vast chambers stretched in impossible directions, with technology that defied understanding integrated directly into the walls and floors. Aria's team moved cautiously, their helmet lights cutting through the darkness. "These markings," murmured Dr. Levinson, the team's xenolinguist, as he examined the intricate symbols etched into a control panel. "They're unlike any language we've encountered in Council records." "Which means this wasn't built by any known species," Aria concluded. "Something older, perhaps." As they progressed deeper into the station, emergency power systems began activating in response to their presence. Dim lights flickered on, and dormant systems hummed back to life. "It's responding to us," Aria realized with growing excitement. "The station is reactivating." In a central chamber, they discovered what appeared to be a data core, a towering crystalline structure pulsing with faint blue light. When Aria approached, interfaces materialized around her. "It's scanning us," Dr. Levinson warned, but Area stood her ground as the light washed over her. The crystalline structure pulsed brighter, and suddenly, the chamber was filled with holographic displays showing star maps, technical schematics, and streams of alien text. "It's giving us access," Area whispered in awe. "The station is sharing its knowledge with us." In the months that followed, the Exodus fleet anchored itself to the ancient station, which they named Haven. Teams of scientists worked tirelessly to decipher the alien technology and integrate it with their own. The station's manufacturing facilities, once understood, allowed them to produce materials and devices generations beyond what humanity had previously achieved. Most importantly, they discovered that the station was one of many built by a long-vanished species known only as the architects. These architects had mastered technologies that even the Galactic Council races considered theoretical: gravity manipulation, zero-point energy, and matter transmutation. The architects' knowledge allowed humanity to establish a permanent settlement. Haven became the first human colony beyond Council space, a place where they could rebuild and grow stronger. "We've adapted their propulsion technology," Area explained during a leadership meeting, projecting a hologram of a new engine design. "With these drives, we could reduce travel times by a factor of 20. Ships that would take decades to build with our old methods can be constructed in months using the station's fabrication systems." Admiral Zhang, who had succeeded Harrison after his death during the journey, studied the schematics with shrewd eyes. "And weaponry?" Area hesitated only briefly. The architects weren't particularly militant, but their energy manipulation technology has applications, defensive capabilities far beyond what we had on Earth. "Good," the Admiral nodded. "We build defenses first, then we expand." 5 years after discovering Haven, humanity had established a growing colony of nearly 50,000 people. The station had been fully repaired and expanded, its systems now thoroughly integrated with human technology. Scout ships with the new architect-derived drives explored the surrounding systems, establishing mining outposts and secondary colonies. It was one of these scout ships that made first contact with another spacefaring race since their exile. The alien vessel was sleek and organic in design, with flowing curves unlike the angular practicality of human ships. It approached Haven cautiously, transmitting signals in multiple formats. "They're trying different communication protocols," Communications Officer Park reported. "Standard Council formats, but also several I don't recognize. Respond with basic mathematical sequences," Area instructed. "Universal language." The aliens, who called themselves the Xerillians, were traders from a civilization at the edge of Council space. They were humanoid but with iridescent scaled skin and large, multifaceted eyes. To their knowledge, this region had been unexplored, and they were shocked to find an established colony. "Your kind is not familiar to us," their captain, who introduced herself as Selmera, said through the translation system. "Yet you possess technology that resembles that of the architects. This is unexpected." Area, serving as humanity's representative, chose her words carefully. "We discovered this station abandoned and have made it our home. We are called humans." Selmera's multifaceted eyes widened. "Humans, the exiles. Your kind was banished by Council decree generations ago." "Yes," Area acknowledged calmly. "And now we have found our own path." The Xerillian traders proved to be valuable sources of information. They were independents who operated in the frontier regions between major powers, carrying goods and news between civilizations. From them, humanity learned that the galaxy had changed since their exile. The Galactic Council had fractured into competing alliances. The Void Scourge, a mysterious threat from beyond the galactic rim, had destroyed several outer colonies, and the ancient technology of the architects was highly sought after by all major powers. "Your position here is precarious," Selmera warned during a private meeting with Area and Admiral Zhang. "If the Council learns that humans have access to architect technology, they will not hesitate to take action." "Let them try," the Admiral said grimly. "We're not the same humans they banished." Selmera's features arranged themselves in what Arya had learned was an expression of concern. "You misunderstand. It is not just the Council. The hegemony would destroy this entire sector to claim what you have discovered. The Collective would infiltrate and steal your knowledge. And the Dominion." She shuddered visibly. "The Dominion would simply annihilate you and take everything." Admiral Zhang and Arya exchanged glances. "Then we need to be prepared," Arya said firmly. "And perhaps we need allies." The Xyrillians became humanity's first trading partners, exchanging exotic materials and cultural knowledge for limited access to some of Haven's manufacturing capabilities. Through them, humans established cautious contact with other independent species operating beyond Council authority. Meanwhile, human innovation flourished. The merger of architect technology with human creativity produced advancements that surpassed even what the ancient race had achieved. Scientists found ways to improve upon the architects' designs, making them more efficient and adaptable. Arya led the development of a revolutionary technology, a form of faster-than-light communication that operated on principles entirely different from the quantum entanglement systems used by Council races. This hypercom network allowed instantaneous communication across vast distances, giving humanity a strategic advantage. Human ships became more numerous and more advanced. The colony population grew as cryopreserved embryos were cultivated and raised by volunteer parents. A generation of humans was born who had never known Earth or the exile. They were children of Haven, raised with the knowledge that the universe was both wondrous and hostile. "We're no longer refugees," Admiral Zhang declared on the 10th anniversary of finding Haven. "We are now the human collective, a sovereign power forged in exile, but destined for greatness." As he spoke those words, none of them could have predicted how quickly the destiny would unfold. Return of the Forgotten. 200 years had passed since humanity's discovery of Haven. The single station had grown into a vast network spanning dozens of star systems, hidden from the major galactic powers through a combination of distance, stealth technology, and strategic alliances with frontier species. The human collective, as they now called themselves, had built a civilization unlike any other, a fusion of human ingenuity and architect technology that had produced wonders beyond imagination. Admiral Elias Reed stood on the command deck of the Defiance, the flagship of the Collective's defense fleet. At 55, he was relatively young for his position, but he had earned it through brilliance in both strategy and diplomacy. His dark skin contrasted with the silver implants at his temples, neural interfaces that connected him directly to the ship's systems. "Status report," he requested, his deep voice carrying across the bridge. "All fleets report ready, Admiral." His executive officer, Commander Imani Okafor, responded. "The hypercom network is secure, and our surveillance systems detect no unusual activity along the border sectors." Reed nodded, studying the tactical display that showed the current positions of known galactic powers. The situation had grown increasingly unstable in recent decades. The Void Scourge, once a distant threat, had consumed entire sectors. The fractured Council races fought among themselves as often as they united against external dangers. "And our guests?" he inquired. "The Xyrillian delegation is waiting in the diplomatic quarter," Imani replied. "Matriarch Telavaru seems anxious." "As she should be," Reed murmured. "Show me the latest Void Scourge activity." The tactical display shifted, revealing a spreading darkness at the edge of charted space. Entire star systems gone dark, consumed by what some called living darkness. The Collective's long-range sensors, far more advanced than those of other civilizations, had been tracking the Scourge's movements with growing concern. "It's accelerating," Reed observed grimly. "Their current trajectory will bring them to Xyrillian space within months, and Council territory shortly after." "Should we intervene?" Imani asked quietly. Reed's expression remained impassive, but his mind was racing through calculations and possibilities. That's what the Council is asking, isn't it? After centuries of exile, suddenly they remember we exist. The diplomatic chamber was designed to impress, a vast space with walls that displayed a real-time holographic representation of the starfield surrounding the ship. Matriarch Telavaru of the Xerillians stood at the center, her scaled skin shimmering with anxiety as Admiral Reed entered. "Admiral," she began without preamble, "have you considered our proposal?" Reed gestured for her to sit at the conference table. "The Galactic Council exiled my people centuries ago, Matriarch. They declared us too dangerous to exist alongside your civilizations. Now, facing extinction, they send you to request our help." "Not the Council directly," she corrected. "I come as a representative of the Xerillian Federation and our allies. The Council remains divided on this matter." "I'm sure they do," Reed responded dryly. "Some would rather face annihilation than admit they were wrong about us." Telavaru's multifaceted eyes reflected the starlight as she leaned forward. "Admiral, the Void Scourge doesn't distinguish between humans, Xerillians, or Council races. It consumes all. Your people have technologies we don't understand, capabilities we've only glimpsed. If anyone can stop the Scourge, it's the human collective." Reed studied her carefully. The Xerillians had been humanity's first allies after the exile, maintaining the relationship even as they balanced it with their Council obligations. They had kept the true extent of human advancement secret from the greater galactic community for generations. "What are you offering in return?" he asked finally. "A formal end to your exile, recognition of the human collective as a sovereign power, trade rights, diplomatic exchange, and a seat at the Council table, with full voting privileges." Reed's expression didn't change, but internally he weighed the proposal against 2 centuries of human development in isolation. "And if we refuse, then we will likely all perish," Telavaru said simply. "And your people's remarkable journey will end in darkness, just like everyone else's." The strategic command center of Haven Prime hummed with activity as the collective's leadership debated the Xerillian proposal. Representatives from all human settlements attended virtually through the Hypercom network, their holograms filling the chamber. "We owe them nothing," insisted Director Kai Nakamura of the Outer Colonies. "The Council races cast us out when we were weak. Now that we're strong, they come begging." "This isn't about owing anyone," countered Dr. Leila Chakrabarty, head of scientific development. "This is about survival, theirs and potentially ours. The Void Scourge is unlike anything we've encountered. Our models suggest it's accelerating its consumption rate." Admiral Reed let the debate continue, listening to all perspectives before speaking. When he finally did, the chamber fell silent. 200 years ago, humanity stood on the brink of extinction. We were forced from our homeworld, sent into the unknown with little hope of survival. We could have perished. We could have devolved into savagery. Instead, we built something remarkable. He activated a holographic display showing the full extent of human territory and influence. Dozens of star systems, hundreds of outposts and stations, and fleets of ships more advanced than anything the Council races possessed. We did this not because we wanted revenge, but because we refused to accept limitation. The question now isn't whether we help the Council races, it's what kind of power we want to be in this galaxy. Do we watch civilizations die because of ancient grudges, or do we demonstrate what humanity has become? The chamber remained silent as his words sank in. "I propose a conditional response," Reed continued. "We will assist against the Void Scourge, but we will do so on our terms. The exile ends not because they allow it, but because we declare it over. We will take our place in galactic society, not as supplicants, but as equals." The vote that followed was nearly unanimous. The Council races received humanity's return with a mixture of fear, awe, and desperate relief. As the Void Scourge consumed the outer systems of Council space, the human collective revealed itself in full force. Massive warships appearing from hyperspace, deploying technologies that had evolved far beyond what anyone had anticipated. At the Battle of Helios Gate, a critical junction between three major sectors. The full might of humanity was displayed. Human vessels moved with impossible precision, their hulls shimmering with energy shields that absorbed the Scourge's attacks. Weapons fired beams of concentrated energy that tore through the darkness, revealing the Scourge's true nature, a hive of billions of nanoscopic entities that consumed matter and energy alike. Admiral Reed commanded from the Defiance, coordinating the combined fleet of human ships and allied forces. The neural implants at his temples glowed as he processed tactical information at superhuman speeds, directing precise strikes against the Scourge's vulnerable nodes. "Target Sector 7, he ordered. "Deploy the resonance cascade." The human ships moved into formation, their systems synchronizing perfectly. Then, as one, they released a wave of energy that rippled through space, disrupting the Scourge's collective intelligence. The darkness faltered, then fragmented as its components lost cohesion. "All vessels, advance and contain," Reed commanded. "Don't let any fragments escape." The battle raged for 3 days, but the outcome was never truly in doubt. The human collective, with their architect-derived technology, enhanced by 2 centuries of innovation, systematically dismantled the Void Scourge piece by piece. When it was over, representatives from the Council races approached the Defiance with formal diplomatic vessels. The meeting that followed would reshape galactic politics forever. "The terms are non-negotiable," Reed stated calmly, facing the assembled Council representatives in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Conclave Station. "The decree of exile is formally rescinded. The human collective is recognized as a sovereign power with all rights and privileges thereof. Our territories remain under our exclusive jurisdiction." The Athoni representative, an avian being with iridescent feathers and sharp eyes, leaned forward. "You demand much for those who were judged dangerous to galactic stability." "We were judged wrongly," Reed replied without emotion. 2 centuries of history have proven that. More importantly, we just saved your civilizations from annihilation. I would suggest that warrants reconsideration of past judgments." The Council races exchanged glances. They had witnessed humanity's power firsthand, not just military might, but technological advancement that bordered on the miraculous. Ships that could travel faster than thought, energy manipulation that defied known physics, communications that couldn't be intercepted or blocked. What assurances do we have that humanity won't use these advantages against the Council races? Asked the Vesperi representative, his insectoid mandibles clicking nervously. Reed allowed himself a small smile. "The same assurances you give us. Mutual benefit and the understanding that cooperation serves us all better than conflict. We don't seek domination, Ambassador. We seek recognition." After hours of debate, the Council races agreed to humanity's terms. The exile was officially ended. The human collective would join galactic society as a full member, not as a subject race, but as a major power with territories, rights, and influence equal to any other. As the diplomatic ceremonies concluded, Reed stood alone at a viewport, gazing out at the stars. Commander Okafor joined him, her uniform bearing the new insignia of the human collective, a stylized representation of Haven Station, encircled by stars. 200 years of exile, ended in a day, she observed. Our ancestors would hardly recognize what we've become. Reed nodded thoughtfully. They sent us away to die, assuming we would perish in the void or regress to primitive survival. Instead, we thrived. We built. We evolved. And now? Okafor asked. Now we take our place in the galaxy, Reed replied. Not as conquerors, but as builders. The architects left us their legacy for a reason. Perhaps they saw in us what the Council races feared, the capacity for rapid adaptation and innovation. Beyond the viewport, human ships moved in precise formation, their sleek designs unlike anything else in the galaxy. They were no longer exiles or refugees. They were the founders of something new. A human empire forged in the darkness of space, tempered by adversity, and now revealed to a galaxy that had forgotten them. "We've completed the journey from exile to empire," Reed said quietly. "Now we must prove worthy of the power we've claimed." As if in response, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, illuminating the path forward for a humanity reborn among the stars.